we go again. My other phone died out. Typical. So what I should have done is went ahead and charged it up before I put it on the got it recording. So I didn't do that. So that's why I guess it died out. The battery gets used up really really quick. So I'm just going to use this my spare phone to answer any kind of whatever. Just to kind of make sure I got to get good views on here and stuff. So yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I noticed I got a crack on there where it hit the ground last night. Oh well, that's just the way it is. But I just hate when something like that happens and I'm trying to do something other. Next thing I know, oh, come on, man. So I got to do everything over again slightly because I deleted the other video. So wait for this to cut on. Oh well, I'll have to get on. So anyway, what I was getting at, the last time I made this kind of video was back in early February, February 10th. And so what I wanted to do is show people how you can take 3M Peltor hearing protectors and make them into nice, comfy earmuffs, whether they're passive or whether they're electronic. So this is this is how I feel how you can do that with just taking your regular earmuffs. Of course, you don't have to do this to them or sacrifice them like I'm doing, but this is how I do it. Usually, I got several pair of furry earmuffs, and that's why I do it. But anyway, so I got it some earmuffs right here, and what I went ahead and done is took the little muff, the furry part off the frame, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on this right here. I'm gonna show you. So this usually has two sides to it. I already took this off and everything, and I'll show you how to take this off again. So if you got some Peltor 3M Peltor earmuffs, now these right here, these double-sided ones, whatever, they can be kind of hard. That's not why I'm not using these, because all you got to do is just take them like this, and you pull these off. They'll come off easy, but on these particular ones, they can be hard, particularly hard to push back on. You got to put a lot of effort into them. And plus, when you got some fur in the way, it might get a little bit more difficult. So that's why I'm using these today. So I'll show you how I take these off again. So anyway, if you got your pair of 3M Peltor with a shotgunners or something a little small profile like this, and you see how that clip is there, some of them have a round thing to go all the way around, but these don't have that. So all you do is just turn it at a 45-degree angle or 90-degree angle, and you pull up. And the same way you pull them off, or the same way you can put them back on. And then you turn it like that, and then they lock in. So basically, what you got is this. See, you see how it's narrow here, and it's wide there. So that's how they lock on. So you can just take this and push it back on. Now, like I said, I've already got this one prepared. This one's ready. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put this onto this. Put the lime in the coconut, so to speak. So what I'm gonna do is, usually I can take it like this. The elastic on here is pretty tight. So usually you just take it and kind of fold it over one side. And you just hold one finger there. That way it don't flop off or flip off, whatever. There you go. It does this. So that's how you get that on there. And the reason why I'm doing that is that way I know where these little stud things are on the side. Where's the other one at? So this little thing here, this is what I'm going for right there, because that's where I'm going to make my hole at. I'm going to make a hole right here and a hole right here, and I'm going to make I was at one point making a hole for the whole ear hole thing, but instead I'm making the ear flap. So just cutting like a little C shape out. And that way I can tuck it back or just pull it out, and it can go over the ear hole, or it could be tucked into the material itself to make it kind of, to make an ear hole. So instead of cutting the whole thing out, because you might want to take them off that and put them back on your frames or whatever, and you can use a little bit of Velcro on the other side to keep them in one place. And I found that I should have bought, if I was thinking about it, I would have brought the little Velcro strips too, but I wasn't. But anyway, getting fuzz all over me. So what I usually do is this. I find out where the little studs are, which are right here, and that's where the little clips go on from the sliders. And I take my X-Acto knife here, and I find it, and I make sure it's there. Well, it might be better to take a pin and draw it out first. But first, before I do that, though, I kind of want to make sure it's on here even, because I don't want the fuzzy thing, the furry thing, to be all cockeyed. So as long as it's pretty much like this, you got like an oval, and you got it on both sides here, and you ain't got it at one side too much on this one and too less on that one. You're good to go. So again, what I do is I find that little stud thing, and I mark it like that. And I find the other one, mark it like that. So I got that one marked and that one marked. And I kind of just predict about what I want to do as far as the cut and the material here. See, that's what I'm going to make. That's the kind of cut I'm going to make. I don't want to go too far down here, and I don't want to go, too little. I don't want to go way up here because it'll expose the pad, and I don't want to go too in the middle because there won't be enough. So what I do is I kind of estimate that the pad's about this thick right here, and so I'll probably cut just underneath it and just make it like a little C-like cut. I just kind of use my finger to feel around, and I kind of go inside that line instead of outside it, because I want the furry part to cover the ear. You know what I mean? To cover the ear pad, rather. I want it to cover the ear pad. So I'm going to go inside this and not outside it, because I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to end up cutting the ear pad itself, and I don't want it to kind of expose too much of the ear pad, because, it's not really, you got half fur on your ear and half vinyl. It just kind of gets a little awkward feeling. So anyway, I'm going to cut a little hole here on the little steady thing. Kind of use it, cut it like this. That blade's sharp too, boy. Cut it like that. I'll make sure I kind of cut it just enough where it can, that way I have like a little bit of a gap on the other side. That way I can kind of push the material back and forth. I don't have a bunch of fur in the way. A faux fur. There we go. Just cut enough there. Now, and so now I'm going to go, you can do it either way. You can do it this side, that side, it don't matter. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to estimate that the pad's above my finger. And I'm going to just kind of trim it out a little bit, not cut too deep. Because the blade is pretty sharp, so there's no need to cut making like a plunge cut, It doesn't have to be all that deep. So I'm going to make sure that's kind of square there. All right. And you get a lot of fuzz everywhere. You count on that, you get fuzz. So I'll just pull that excess. Golly. It's going to be fuzzy. I got one more to do. See, now I got like a little flap. That flap goes in and out. I got a hole here. And I got a hole here. See that? Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it around. We're going to turn it inside out like this. What I might do is shake this sucker off, get all the fuzz off of it. what I got now is a little, so like if you want to put them back on your earmuff frame, you can do that. I'm gonna do that real quick. Just kind of line the little flap up to where it's kind of pointing at the back of the ear. That way you can kind of smooth it out if you want it to go back on the frame. And you can use your, like I said, you can use some like Velcro, and you can kind of stick it on here and everything, and that way you can both use it for, I mean, if you want to be really cheap and you think it's practical or whatever, you can do that. But if not, if you want to go all out, you can probably go to, that's what I've been doing. I've been kind of trying to get up with some people, and I got one person that said they're interested in do it, and they won't charge me very much. All I got to do is send them the hearing protector itself. I'm like, okay, and so see if I can make out a payment plan with them, because I ain't got the money to do all that stuff. So, if you want to get like real fur and you want to have them specially made. So anyway, what I was trying to say though is you can just put this back on the frame if you want to do that. This one's being really fighty with me. Wants to fight me. So anyway, it won't look great, but all you got to do is kind of shimmy it up a little bit, pull it here and there. And so this is what you're pretty much going to do to the other one. You're just going to end up doing that with it. Just pulling it out if you want, smoothing it back. Some people say, well, that doesn't look very good. Yeah, you're probably right, it don't. I got fuzz all over me. So anyway, I'm going to take these off again. So what I'm doing is I'm making these, getting these prepared for somebody who might, well, I know she wants them, but she ain't working today, so can't do it today. Can't take them to her today. So I'm doing these for her. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these right here, and we're going to put them on here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that little flap, this little flap here, goes one direction on both sides. So if it's right here, so if this flap is right here, I'm going to make sure it goes on the right ear. Then I'm going to do it the other way, and all I have to do is flip it around, and the flap is the same direction, and the holes are lined up. That way, if she doesn't want the flaps in a way to cover her ear, all she's got to do is tuck it back. But if she does, then that way it'll be on the ear. Yeah, it's got turned upside down. It'll be on the ear if she wants it that way. Or she can just kind of tuck it back and let her ear settle into the ear hole with a hearing protector. Just that easy. So now we're going to do this. Put it on here, and I'm show you what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is, it's a lot better if you fold it back inside out again. And this is something I learned, like just kind of trial and error kind of thing, And boy, it's fuzzy work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that right here into the hole, that little part right here. I'm going to stick it in one of these little holes here that I cut. Then I'm going to bring it around. Probably going to put my finger, I need to put my finger there too so it won't flip off. Bring it around. There we go. It's on there now. The thing about these are though, these smaller ones, they're a lot narrow. So when you go to put them on something like this, it's a lot better because it's got more material it can spread around. But something like this, it kind of wants to just cover it up real quick because of the elastic. But with the bigger ones, it's a little bit easier to work with. But it'll still get on there, So you got a hole here. You got a hole right there. That is. And then you got your ear hole. And if you want, you can pull that out. You can have it like that. As soon as you get all that fuzz off there, just blow it off, with something. So you got that right there, that flap, and you can tuck it back like that. So it's going to kind of go like this. It's going to go over your ear. If you don't don't have big ears like me, it's better. It'll go over your ear and it still act as a hearing protector. Or if you want it just to be simply ear muff hearing protector, all you got to do is pull that little flap out. And you can have it on your ear instead of over your ear, instead of the whole thing going over your ear. I mean, it'll eventually, your ears sink in there, but that fur will be on your ear too. It'll be on your ear canal. But if you don't want it on the ear canal, all you got to do is just tuck it back into that, right beside the vinyl. And you can just put it on like that, and you can feel, you'll feel your ear go into the ear hole. So like that. So now what we got is like, this is what we have now. I'll make sure I line the Peltor up. So I want to make sure I line wherever I'm going to stick my head forward at, I want that part to be right here against my ear, not back here. So I'm going to do it like this now. Wish I can pause this for a minute, that way I can see how easy that goes on. So I wish I can pause this for a minute, that way I can do the other one, and then you'll see that the whole shebang. See, I gotta move it. Sometimes you gotta move the fur out of the way, but it's on there now. There we go. See? You got a half hearing protector without the fur earmuff and a half hearing protector with it. And a bunch of fuzz. And I think sometimes it would be good if you can get same kind of color material and kind of fill this part in, or you can kind of fill it in with like a design or something like that, or something you might like, or like a kind of like a velvety type of looking thing. That way you won't see the word Peltor on here, whatever. I did that last year before. A year and a half ago, I took some other material and I put it over this. What I did was I tucked it around here, and then enough of that fur hid the little elastic edges. But anyway, what we have now, let me see where this furry part is here. Okay, so it's right here, this little flap. So this part's going to go against this ear here when it comes on my ear. So that's what I want. So now I got like a little flap right here, and I can leave it right there, or I can tuck it back in. I'm going to just leave it right here for a second. And I'm going to put these on. I'm going to show you. Oh, wow. That's nice. Wow. That feels pretty nice. So my ear's in the ear hole, plus the furry flap thing is on it. So that's what I thought. But if I don't want that anyway, in the way, all I got to do is tuck that flap further next to the vinyl ear pad. So it still acts as a hearing protector. So I can hardly hear anyway. I think it's 24 noise reduction rating or something like that. These are. So see that right there? This is where the back of your ear goes. This is where the front of your ear goes, where the ear canal is. So like I said, you can take that part and you can move it out. You can do that with it. It just goes right on your ear. It'll eventually get into that hole, but there you go. But the whole point though was it's kind of overlapping just a little bit here, but that won't really bother you as much. You can't really tell it. You got more stuff on your ear, and it might be a good thing too to have some of that vinyl kind of used as the hearing protector itself instead of the fur, because the fur, even though it's good, seals around your ear good and everything, it might kind of leak as far as noise. The noise might leak in, so it's good to have a vinyl part connecting to the back of your skin, so where you can make a better seal. So that might be a good thing. But anyway, that's what we got there. So you got a point here that you cut, point here that you cut, a little hole, and then the elastic part, which goes on the outside of the traditional earmuffs, inside, sorry, on the traditional earmuffs like this, goes on the outside, and the furry side is facing inside with a little C-shaped cut in it. So that was fun, easy, I think. and fun, easy, and fuzzy. Furry. Fun, easy, fuzzy, and furry. So what I might end up doing is going ahead real quick. And see, that's the thing with this. Some of that vinyl is going to be exposed because this thing is wanting to go around this way. It's wanting to pull toward the center of this. That's where the elastic is going. It's kind of pulling this way. Even though you got an anchor point here and an anchor point here, where some of that's not doing that. But at the top and the bottom, that's where it's trying to do that. So anyway, if you ever sleep in them or whatever, you kind of make sure you just kind of adjust them back to where you want them. But for the most part, you can wear them pretty much all day like that. But if you're tossing around in bed, you want to do this, that, and the other, they might kind of get a little movish, whatever. But for the most part, they're going to kind of stay in one situation or one place. If you don't kind of do this with them all the time, that elastic's going to go crazy on you. So we got it like this now. We got one part that's muffed with earmuff fur on your hearing protector, another part that ain't. But like I said, it's easier to do it on this because you got a bunch of ear cup, and it kind of hangs right about in there somewhere. I mean, it'll go over, of course. The elastic will kind of stay right about in there. I think it won't kind of shrink up like that, like the other one's doing there. So you'll have the material that you need covering your ear pads. Just make sure when you cut that little C shape, you don't go too far out or too far in, because if you go too far out, you expose a lot more of this vinyl than you want. If you go too far in, you won't be able to, your ear get in there, but you kind of got to adjust it here and there, you kind of got to wiggle it around to kind of lock your ear in. So anyway, let's see how this works. We're going to do the same thing over again. So really, 22 minutes is the end, pretty much. Less than 20 minutes, I think, is really the end of what I got to show you. Because you can do this with the any 3M Peltor, pretty much, if you kind of deal with this kind of type of thing. Because this right here, the ear pads don't come off like those do. They you got to take it like a knife or whatever, or a little thing right there and kind of twist them off. So these little things right here, and I'll show you how hard they are. See, just like that, how hard they are. But you can still get them on there. But you got to fight. See, they're a little bit more snug. There you go. So let's just see how we can use this. We'll get this on here. So again, I'm going to take this off. And you can also do these for headphones too. You can do it from headphones. With headphones, you ain't got to do that little hole cut on each side. But if you want, you can kind of make that little C-shaped cut or whatever, or you can cut all the material out in the middle. And that way you ain't got to go to ear snugs or ear hugs or gym hugs or whatever else. Just say, oh, I want some of those. They got the elastic thing, because you already got the earmuffs already have the elastic on them. And you can get these off of Amazon, and they're much cheaper. And you can get probably sets of them. You can probably get like Suhan, they'll have some, Brook and Bay. They'll have some, and they're a lot softer and everything. And so actually, let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is what I did with the gym hugs, ear snugs, gym hugs. So that's what I did. I had these. So I got a hole here, a hole there. Bought this a couple of years ago, and the material was right there. And if I knew what I was doing, if I knew better, I would just cut like a little C section out and leave it flat. But no, I didn't do that. I decided just to go ahead and cut the whole thing out. Dumb. But you learn, you live and you learn. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these off now, and take that off. And what I might also do is record this again, the short version, and then install that, post that. I'm gonna stop it at 20 minutes and be done with that, and then just let this one right here post however long it takes me to do this. And so same thing over again. Take it like this. You probably line up the grain if you want up and down. Take it like this right here, pull it over. Actually, it's the other way around. Should have done it like this. Yeah. Oh, dang on. That's what I should have done. Trying to find your green. And just kind of take it and just flip it over the ear cup. It might want to fight you. Because this particular one's elastic. So, I mean, it's tighter elastic. So you get it, I want to kind of, like I said, you want to kind of get it straight on there. I want to kind of get it even. And you can take your pen if you want. I know where I'm going to cut, but for reference sake, I'm just going to put it, just draw it on there. See it right there? Little stud-like little thing there. Do it like that. And I'm going to kind of imagine a place where I want to cut it at. To a C, something like that. Kind of give it that little flat looking shape. I'm probably going to cut more up in here and then a little further down. But anyway, where's my little knife at? I got fuzz all over me now. So I'm going to take this again. I'm going to probably pull it taut right here and in the back. That way to split open. And hopefully my finger won't split open because of it. There we go. Might try to cut it with a grain, you know, not against the grain. And do the same thing on this one. When nothing else better, I'd like to do on a rainy day than cutting up on earmuffs. And now I'm going to cut the little C-shaped thing. And some people, I mean, you might want to go a little bit bigger with the ear, but the good thing about it is the material stretches, so you know you ain't got to make that hole too big. And I got big ears, as you can see, so they fit mine just fine. And I don't want to go too crazy because I don't want to cut the vinyl up. I mean, if you cut it a little bit, it ain't gonna hurt anything, but you know, you don't want to cut it so bad where you got that foam kind of coming out of it. So now, got like a little flap again, and we're gonna have a lot of fuzz too. It's everywhere. It's all over my shirt. It's like little cotton seeds flying around. I think this one might be better than the other one. You can see how like it's more flappy. So anyway, let's take that off. Flip it inside out. Hell, I might keep these for myself. And we get this one ready. Yeah. Trying to see where these were. Okay, these were on the front right here, so I need to face the other ones the same direction. Okay. Make sure this is up and down like this. And that one goes this way. So what I gotta do is when I put these on, I gotta have that flap pointing out that way toward the camera. So that way the flaps go in one direction. And then what I did on the other one is I'm going to do on this, put it in this little hole here that I made. That way it's got a good anchor point. And just pull it around. And that way, see, that one lined it right up and just went right in that hole. And kind of pull it out a little bit, make sure it's good and even. But like I said, a smaller, lower profile hand protector ear cup is gonna, the fabrics or the elastic's kind of trying to go around the whole thing. So that's just a given on that. So now we got, it looks like an egg shape. And you see Peltor on there, but also too, you see how that's on there. The little flap is right here. So if you want it out, just pull it out like that. You're going to get lined up against the air hole like that. Or if you want it back, just push it back. And your whole ear just slips right on in, which is really comfortable. And you can feel all the fur just about surrounding your ear. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's really, really comfortable. Get some of this fuzz off of it. And like I said, some of the vinyl might show here and there, but you really can't tell a whole bunch of it because, again, it likes to pull around the front. All right, so now we're going to put these onto this. So I'll take that. I'm going to put this right here. Put this clip on this. Move some of that fur out of the way. It snaps right on. Do the same thing here. Snaps right on. There. Now. Okay. Kind of nervous about this. Kind of nervous. Hey, what's up, Big Cow? Surprised you didn't get all your messages on there last night. I noticed a lot of them were kind of disappeared. But anyway, I'm gonna try it like, oh my gosh. Wow. That's nice. I mean, they're really practical, but some people might not like seeing that elastic. And in that case, just get you another piece of fur and kind of run it underneath and make it kind of pull it out a little bit around the edges, and you really can't tell. They were disappearing. Yeah. Wasn't me. I didn't do it. I don't know how that happened. I must have had somebody that was a moderator in there. Wow, that feels nice. But anyway, there we are, 33 minutes. That's how you do it. And they still, I mean, they're still hearing protectors. I mean, they're blocking out a lot of sound right now. And I don't have none of the furry muff parts on my ears. So, as you can see, there's holes in there. So if I pull those out, if I pull the flat things out, and just have it over like that, let's see how that works. Yeah, this right here is less of a flap, it's more broader. The other one, though, is more of a flap. So this might be a little bit different. I didn't cut that one right, but still, it's still going to work, though. There we go. Let's see where they are. So you kind of got like that right there, and this right here. Looks like a earmuff thing. and they're not gonna, your ear's not gonna automatically go in. But if you wiggle them around enough like that, then your ears will go in. You'll feel the fur from the flaps on your ears, unless you tuck them in, which that feels really, really nice. I might change up. I might cut a better pair and just change up what I got, because these feel nice. Those feel nice too, but these feel really nice. I don't know why. But you can see right there, that part right there is wider than this part right here. So that's the way that earmuff wants to ride that uh, ear cup, the elastic. But anyway, they look pretty nice, if I do say so myself. Got fuzz all over me. Get this out for tomorrow. Social Security card, birth certificate. Wow, these are nice. See, they kind of make it. Excuse me, they kind of make an ear hole there. They will keep your ears warm, I promise you, and you'll have great hearing protection at the same time. But anyway, that's what I did with these right here. I did the same thing with these. These are the 3M Pro Protects, and they came out really good, I think. So you see, I still got an ear flap. I got a better looking ear flap on this one because I cut it more elongated than I did wider. So I got an ear flap there, and I can keep it like that if I want. Do the same thing with this one. Pull it out. Keep it like this. And I got to remember next time if I go to make new ones for these, because I mean, not that they're getting old or whatever, but you know, you kind of get like a little, grease from your body or whatever. They might need to be washed or whatever. But I like for them to be nice and soft. See, right now it's just sitting on top of my ears. But if I wiggle a little bit, they'll start to kind of push into the ear holes. But there's more speaker in these than there are of those, because these are pretty much hollow. These are hollow. They ain't got nothing in them. So my ear goes right straight into that hole. With these, there's a bit of a speaker not far away, so I can hear stuff, Bluetooth, whatever. But right now, on my ears like that, they're pretty comfortable. Yeah. But sometimes, whenever I push that material back, and my ears get into holes, and then when they're kind of pushing up against the outside frame of the ear cup and next to the speaker, that's kind of when they hurt at times. But with these right here, when I got them on these, that's not so bad. See, you got that hole there, but it just depends. Because my ear being the weird size, it can kind of get up on the edge there, the top part of my ear, then my ear lobes, my flappy parts. But it kind of, some of the misshaped parts of my ears can kind of get hurting a bit. But other times it's fine. It just depends. Like I said, it just depends on the day. It just depends on how my ear wants to act. But for the most part, if you want to kind of be practical, if you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, you want hearing protection, you want headphone, Bluetooth, and the hearing protectors. You want the 3-in-1. You want the acoustic that blocks sound. You want the thermal that keeps in warmth, and then you want the audio. Then I think that's a more practical way to do it. You know, you'll have, if you get your 3M, you can probably do it with other ones, but 3M Peltors are easier because, like I said, they got this little thing where you can flip and pull off and put it back. But these are just a little bit harder. And you can do it with these 3M Pro Protects really easy. You can do it with 3M Pro Comms easy. You can do it with 3M Pro Grades, 3M Peltor Work Tunes Connect, 3M Peltor Work Tunes Connect plus AM FM, 3M, most of the 3M Peltor type headphones, earmuffs you can do it with. Whatever 3M Peltor makes, you can probably do it. But again, these op times here, these particular op times, they can be a little pain in the butt. Like right now, that I pull the ear flaps out, which I don't usually do that, they feel really nice and comfortable on my ears right now. So I'm just going to wear them. They feel good. I like them. So I got these pink ones that were supposed to go to a girl, and these suckers are tight. So see how they're really tight. That headband's got tight. Then I got this other pair left. Let's see how they work. These are not as bad, but they're really fuzzy. So what I usually do is to keep them in one little section or one little spot. I just take them and fold them in like that, and I just take this, make them look like that. So anyway, that's how you do that. And like I said, about minute 20 is probably the much as I wanted to really show you, but I just want to also show you how to do the other side too. And so what we got is both sides now, which are just the 3M Peltor. So you can see it says Peltor 3M. Oh, these are Peltor Sports. Okay. So now you got all that. Well, there's a lot of them that said Peltor Sports. And this type of headband that comes with it. Also, I also want to do, I'm going to do a video here in just a minute of somebody was telling me about the headbands or the new 3M Work Tunes Connect and the 3M Work Tunes Connect Plus AM FM, which also the 3M Work Tunes Connect Solar, the headbands kind of hurts the head. And I'm like, yeah, I know, don't I know? So I think I'm going to try and do a video on that and be done with it. But anyway, I hope this has been helpful to somebody. Hope you enjoyed it. And I used to have fun doing this kind of stuff. I really do. I had fun doing it now. But when I could afford stuff like that, when I had the money, I kind of done it a lot. And it's weird because I wasn't making a whole bunch of money, but then again too, I didn't have a whole lot more bills. I had like I had a mortgage, but I didn't have a loan I had to pay on either. So anyway, it's just the way it is. Oh, I forgot you had these on. But wow, they feel really nice right now. I never even really thought about pulling the little flaps out. I mean, I've recommended it to other people, but me personally, I just never done it. And these flaps right here are just, see how my ear just sink in there just a little bit, just so my back ear can get in there. And that's what I really wanted. Same thing here. I don't want them, because I mean, right here is not a problem. But when it comes to this part, if that part of your ear is being pressed on, it hurts, especially when you're wearing glasses. If it's pushed right there or whatever, it hurts. And not so much this part. But this part can hurt too when you got the too much fuzz or furry part crowded up or whatever. I mean, and because, or your ear is pushing into it or pushed in like that, that's when it hurts. But now see, I can take these and I can push that little flat part back, and then my ear would go into the holes, the ear holes here, the ear cup. Yeah, just like that now. They went into the ear cup hole. But yeah, I can kind of feel a little bit of pressure right here on my temples from that little flat being tucked in there a little bit, but it's not really bad. So from now on, I just might pull it out like that, let it stay over. That way they can sink in. Instead of going straight into the ear hole, they can sink in. And at the same time, I still have my the the hearing protector still works as it should. So they're not really doing a whole lot and diminishing the protection either. You know what I mean? Maybe just a little bit. If my ears are not going into the hole, it might be just a little bit. But still, it would seem like I got more so because I got the furry parts surrounding my ears, you know, blocking out sound. And I got the clamping force on there. It's not clamping real hard, but it is doing enough to block out any kind of sounds. Like I can't hear the cars going back and forth. But if I had these off and I have them over my ears, they're probably just a little bit more protection. But I mean, for right now, they're doing just as much protection as I mean, if I was wearing it without it, I guess. But it would probably be just a little bit more if I didn't have them on there, these furry buffs. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do another one here concerning the 3M Work Tunes Connect for a person and everything. Kind of give them a little heads up on that because they wanted me to. I guess they wanted me to address it, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to address it as best I can. And I might go ahead and wear these while I'm at it. I think I will. All right. Well, hope y'all got something out of it. So remember, 20 minutes in is pretty much the point I was getting to. The next 20 minutes, 27 minutes is the me just doing the other side and yapping my head off. All right. Well, we'll see you later. Thanks.